Hi, Pearl. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And I am excited because we are back with another episode of Conversations with God with
Mhm.
you, Esther and me, Pearl.
Yes, I'm excited about that too. So today we decided, well, we were in prayer the other day when we were talking, and we decided that we kind of wanted to do like a spontaneous
Mhm.
conversation, like video conversations with God, kind of like spontaneous worship. We are doing like a spontaneous video, so we will be talking about future families. So I know that's a very exciting topic, but it could also be I don't want to say a touchy topic, but a lot of us, including Pearl and myself, are still in the waiting for our
Yes.
future spouse. So I feel like hope is faith in how is it that when I remember I'll say it back, but I know that hope is faith in the future. Is it something like that? I know I've heard somebody say that, but I think we should just
I
talk about.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I think that we should just, kind of talk about the topics that we kind of want to talk about are traditions, like what we will do differently or what we will continue to do once we start having our family. So Pearl, I'm interested to know. Um, I would well first and foremost, I want to know like what's your dream when it comes to this to family. Like what's your heart's desire?
You know, it's interesting. And when we decided to talk about this, I just spent some time thinking about this, right? What does it mean to me? I think maybe for the longest time I did not think about it, and especially when I didn't know God before. Um, I think I'd seen a lot of negativity around me, and maybe I, did not let myself hope or dream
Hmm.
before. So it's kind of been, I would say, a journey for me and a gradual change towards being more positive. I think in every area of my life, not just in this particular area. Um, but you know, of late, I think when I see families together, right? They do life together. They enjoy these small moments. It's not just the big things like going on vacation together, having fun kind of thing, but just being there for each other in the small everyday moments.
Yeah.
I think that's important, and I would like to contribute to that. I would like to be a part of that. I think it kind of models the family that God also wants us to have,
That's true.
and be a part of. So yeah, I think it's the small things that comes to mind as of now.
Yeah,
What about yourself?
I like that. I know that we have spoken about this topic several times, and
Yeah.
I know that we are both very passionate about this. Um, for me, not and I kind of want to talk about this a little bit, just because my heart's desire is to really have a home. Like I grew
Mm.
up without a father in the home. He was hardly there. So for me, it's very important to know to have the man that God wants, me to for us to have a family. I think
Yeah.
that first and foremost that's very important, because I do want my children to have both of their parents there.
Very, very important, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I find very important is I'm a true believer that healthy people come from healthy homes. And unfortunately, in the world right now, we're seeing so much catastrophes, and I
Yeah.
really feel that it all starts in the home. And when you have broken homes,
Yeah.
you have broken people. And that doesn't mean that I want to put it, because I know I've also met people in my life that maybe did not have both parents in the home.
Hmm.
But that parent that was in the home made a conscious decision to heal from
Yeah.
past traumas, or and I think I'm getting a little too deep, but like past traumas, or even like the relationship with the child's uh parent, the father
Hmm.
or the mother, and they grow up to be, you know extremely, you know like they got everything together, in the sense that there's no, they know how to look for healing. They like therapy is not like a bad thing or anything like that. um I feel like I'm getting a little bit off track, but my desire is to have a healthy home. My home should be a safe haven. It shouldn't be a battlefield. um so that's my heart's desire. Like, I want my children to be very comfortable coming to me or their dad, about any issues, and that we can pray about it. So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but
Yeah. I liked when you said, I want it to be healthy and not a battleground,
mhm.
because sometimes it feels like there is strife, right? And I don't know, maybe sometimes, people don't want to go home. You don't look forward to going
Yeah,
home because of, what you've experienced or been through. So I think it's very important to have peace, right?
yeah. To have peace, and I mean, you see it with society now. I mean, you've always seen it, but now more than ever, um, you have all these senseless, murders and stuff like that, and these
Yeah.
going out in the streets looking for love and protection from other
Yeah.
people. They end up, doing things that they're not supposed to, getting involved in things that they're not supposed to, catching charges that they're not, because of
Yeah.
the influence. And I always think about, well, what's going on in the home? Because if the home is broken, if there's nothing there, there's no love, there's no compassion or anything like that. There's no understanding. There's no,
Mm.
healing. They're gonna go out and try to get it, and so that's just my observation, as to, things that I see, and that it's not only a desire in my heart for myself, but also a desire in my heart for everybody, for everybody, even those people that are out there hurting because they don't have a family, they don't have
Yeah.
that support. So yeah, that's just my little 2 cents in that. So
No, I think that's wonderful. That sounds selfless, um, really nice. I also liked it when you said, um maybe the kids are not connecting as much at home, right? Maybe they are not sensing that they are truly loved,
yeah,
and it could be for a number of reasons. Not not judging anyone here, but how important is that, isn't it?
yeah, it
Like,
is.
yeah, for example, I'm quite close to my parents, and I had my mom is like one of my best friends. It's such a relief to be
Mhm.
able to talk to her and share things with her. So I,
Yeah,
I even appreciate like her attitude, right? Because she's from a different generation, but she's had to understand where I'm coming from, what's going on, in 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 youngsters' lives, and kind of counsel me, motivate me, So it's not easy, right?
No, it's not. It's not easy at all. So what are other things? So when it comes to like your household, like I know that we spoke about this before. And like what are the things that are like non-negotiable in like in your house? So like your kids cannot like definitely not, we're not negotiating. What are those things?
Wow. I don't know, I don't know if I've thought so much about this, but I'll definitely start thinking about it now that you have asked me. Um, I think, since I've experienced some form of bullying and, disrespect growing up as a child, I know how that has affected me. I think that's
Mhm.
definitely something which would not
Yeah.
be acceptable, in my house,
Right.
because I think it starts very small, um, and children can, pick up good things. I think,
Yeah.
as parents, if we, sit with them, give them examples, explain what's good, how people should be treated. Just because someone's different doesn't mean that, they are not
They're less. Yeah.
lovable. I think that would be very, very important to
I know
me.
that we
What
spoke
about
about
you?
this a while back. So one of the things that I will not be tolerating um, is, and this might sound weird to some people, but hear me out here. Um, because I feel that this is also dividing the family as well instead of bringing them together. One of the things that I will not be doing in my household is having computers and TVs in my kids every like individually in everyone's bedroom. Like we're having one television that's gonna be in the family.
Very nice.
We're having one computer, and that's gonna be in the office or family room. Just because when I was growing up, we had literally one TV. Well, we had two, one in
Hmm.
the bedroom and one in the living room. But all the kids, sorry, I have this huge bee in my room. All these kids would take turns watching their programs in the living room. So of course, there were fights and stuff like that, but we managed to, pull through, right? um, because nowadays everybody's stuck in their own room. You don't know what's going on in your kid's life. And I think that's very important for parents to be very involved in their kids' life, no matter what age they're in. I mean, they're your child. Um, but especially when they're small and they're living in the household, you need to have that one-on-one connection. There has to be a sense of family, of
Mm,
us being together. And I
yeah.
remember I was telling you the story that I used to love watching the Wayans brothers when I was younger. And you
Mm,
have other people in my family that liked watching other shows.
something else.
Yeah, so a lot of the times those shows came on at the same time. So what did we do?
Oh my.
When my show was in commercials, we flipped the channel to the next show. And that's how we got to, kind of share and watch the TV. And believe it or not, that did create a very nice, like a beautiful bond when we were children. And of course, things change as we get adults, but those are things that I cherish, and those are things that I wanna, have my children like be very close and and I don't think that everybody being individually in their room is gonna solve anything. Also, family dinners are gonna be very important. I will be asking all types of questions
Hmm.
because I'm gonna be a nosy mom. Not because of it's just I need to be involved in my children's life. I need to know what's going on, what happened that day, what conversations did they have, that were they bullied? Because my gosh, unfortunately we have seen so many
I
children
know. I
commit
know. Yeah.
suicide because of bullying. It's gotten that bad. Like the enemy has
Yeah.
Jesus. And like protect. I like right now. I just protect any child that's watching this video. If you feel like
Yeah.
you're being bullied, and like speak to your parents, um, or a grown up that that's gonna help you out and handle that situation, because yeah. So those are things that are, and of course there's more, but we need to be together. So yeah.
I like that. I like when you said, you know, family dinners, right? And I just mentioned that I've just started seeing that on television, and uh, it's so nice. You're just focused on each other, enjoying the food and conversations, right? You're not looking at the television. It's no gadget and other things. That's very nice. And also in terms of, I think, sharing. So I'm an only child, so I've not had to, share or fight or experience all of those things.
I
So
have.
it's nice to hear how you worked through it and
Yeah.
how you gained from that, right? I like that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, even like playing Nintendo, like we would take. Of course, there were fights. Like we were kids, but we always managed to, work it out. So it's those. That's the fun of being a child, like being a child. So, and of course, there's a lot of other things that I would like to do that I see that families don't longer do that, and there's such a disconnect. Um, yeah. So yeah. So what traditions do you plan on continuing,
Hmm.
and what traditions do you plan on starting?
This is tough.
Mm-hmm.
You ask tough questions. You make me think. um, Now I know that in some families, in a lot of families actually, and so many of the movies on Hallmark, etc., there are traditions that people have, maybe during Christmas, um, you know, um, and different festivals, etc. Maybe it's just you know you're just unique to their family and prior generations. I don't know if I can put my hand on any one thing, but I do know that my parents are more like my friends.
Okay.
We dance together, we hang out at times. Of course, there are times when we don't agree. There are
Yeah.
times when things, it's it's a part of life. But yeah, I think what we've enjoyed over the pandemic is just get together and watch a nice family movie like Agatha Christie's shows, or like a detective story. So it's a very warm, fuzzy feeling. It's a thing that all of us get together and do. I think that's something that I'll definitely continue,
Mm-hmm.
because I love nature. I think all of us connect with nature so well.
Yes.
So anything to do with nature, nature walks,
Yeah.
and yes, yes, that's something which I would like to continue. And I think we've discussed before as well. Both of us love, you know, um, eating healthy and experimenting with other healthy habits, and that I think it needs to start at home,
Yes. Yes.
because
Healthy.
there are
Yeah.
so many health issues, right? So I
Yeah.
think it'll help keep a healthy mind, healthy body when we maybe exercise together as well. I'd not thought of like working out together. Maybe like set a schedule and do that as a family. I think that's something which I'd like to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also when it comes to the exercising as well, have your kids in physical activities, there's so many amazing sports. Like for
Good
me,
idea.
I would love to have my kids in like swimming, not only because it's a great
Yeah.
exercise, you're literally working your whole body, but also it's a lifesaver. You don't know what could happen. Like they could be like swimming in the pool or something else.
Yeah.
They could literally save their life and somebody else's life. So I think that would be a great one. Also, I really want to get into like self defense classes.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, not only
Good
because
one.
it's a great exercise, but also because let's be honest, I'm a woman and I want to learn how to like defend myself if I find
Yeah.
myself in a situation where I have to, and I cannot reach the pepper spray fast enough. I could defend myself. So I really like that. I like what you said, like working out together, having the kids active because kids a lot of energy. If you have them in physical activities, trust me, they
You
get
know,
it.
I wanted to ask you about this, right? Because so many of the people I talk to, they talk about how naughty their child is, how much energy the child has. Are you prepared for handling something like that? And how do you think you can, focus their energy towards more beneficial activities, perhaps? Yeah.
That's a very good question because, as you know, I am an auntie of a whole bunch of nieces and nephews.
Yes. Cute
But for my
nephews and
sister,
nieces.
yeah,
Yeah.
for my sister, like my full sister, um, she has four, and I helped take care of the two older ones. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, so I was mommy for a little while, so I had to learn uh things to have these, and they were really small. They were like, uh, they were toddlers, and well, not toddlers. They were. Let me see. Josiah was just born when I started taking care of him, and then Jaden was like 1 or 2, so he was a toddler. We had a baby, and I took care of them for a couple years. Um, so one of the things that I did was early in the morning before they woke up is have their breakfast prepared. And then after that, like have them do they really like coloring books and stuff like that. So I did that. And when they're that small, in reality you don't need to do much. Is when they start walking. When they start walking and running around, well then that's different. So I lived across the street from the park. So I will go to the park with them and let them run around as much as they can. So when they got home, I showered them, and they they I bathe them and they're straight to bed. Um, so sometimes it's just getting up and going out, even though you don't sometimes want to, because maybe the weather or whatever it is. But now that they're older, my sister has them like in basketball and football and stuff like that. Of course, with the pandemic, it has been a bit difficult, but before that, they were in like sports and stuff like that. Um, so it's putting them in things that they really like and gravitate to. Also learning, and seeing and watching and paying close attention as to what they like. Um, and I was talking to my sister about this a while back. Jaden loves to, which is the eldest, her eldest. Jaden loves to draw, like he's a very, very skilled artist. So it's keeping him occupied in those things. And then Josiah, he loves to cook. So it's keeping him like encouraged and in the kitchen and to help out. Anything that has to do with food, he loves to. And he's like this skinny. He's a skinny thing, but he loves to eat. And then the other two, they're still really small, so they're still watching, cartoons and stuff like that. I don't know if that answered your question, but is I think just really paying attention to your kids, because your kids will let you know what they like, and since a very small age. You just have to pay attention, and you have to cultivate that. If they like to draw, then put them in drawing class. If they like to sing,
Mm.
put them in singing class. If they like sports, then put them in sports. Just paying attention to what you're seeing as they're growing. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's what I have.
No, yeah, I think it did. That's very interesting. Thank you. Now, I think you would have learned so much yourself, right? Spending time with them, and
Yeah,
you know, I think their energy and interests are a motivation. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a
yeah.
two-way thing. Wow.
It could be a lot. Like taking care of kids, like it could be a lot. It's a lot of energy. They have a lot of energy, a lot. So it's
So it's like
really,
a natural workout for you. You're just
oh
running
yeah,
behind them and
oh my gosh, yes. So it's really, and I know that it's a sacrifice for parents, um,
yeah,
to pick them up from one place and drop them off at the other and do this and do that.
huge. Yeah.
It also keeps their mind very occupied as well, and it keeps them away from distraction or wanting to get involved in things that they're not supposed to.
Mm,
And I think also, well, not think, I know that it's also very important for them to be very involved in the church as much as they can, because that should always be the foundation is church. So yeah,
wow. No, now, now that you mentioned that, um, I liked what one of the Christian fathers had said. He said that he and his wife they play games with the kids, and I think every night before they sleep, they read out stories to them,
yes,
and um, it just makes it come alive. It makes the Bible stories come alive for the
yeah,
young kids, and they are interested. They retain it, and they ask a lot of questions, right?
yes,
And
yes,
many times they may come back to the parents and say, you know what, this is what was mentioned in this story,
yeah,
and maybe you're not doing it right, because
mhm,
kids are so honest. So it's interesting, our conversations with God are about stories as well, and then kids love stories.
yeah,
So yeah, it's good that this connects with them. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So one of the things that going back to like the traditions and stuff, I don't know if this is a tradition, but one of the things that I definitely want to teach my children is the Spanish language, because I
Nice.
speak Spanish very fluently, and
Hmm.
that's something that I was taught. In reality, Spanish was my first language. I started,
Hmm.
and I, to be honest, I don't know if I ever struggled with the English because cartoons and stuff like that when I was young, everything was in English. But I think that's very important. I really, really think that's very important if you speak one language, and growing up, at least here in the United States, the main language is English.
English.
Have to teach your children your native language as well. I think that's very important, and it's also very beneficial to them as well because they'll be able to communicate with other people, and it opens also job opportunities because they're bilingual or trilingual,
Yeah.
as many languages as they can. Another thing that I definitely will be passing down um, is the Dominican culture. My parents are Dominican, so when it comes to the food, the music, the history. Also, one of the things that I was telling my sister a while back, that we have stopped storytelling. So
Mm,
I'll give you an example. Like, so I know a lot of stories from my family because it was just the way that they
mhm.
that they spoke. They storytelled a lot. Um, so I have an uncle who passed away maybe like a couple months before I was born, or maybe like a year before I was born. But because they spoke about him so much, and they spoke about stories and things that he did, and all these things, it always felt like I knew him. And even when I talk about him now, it feels like, I know him because of that. And to be honest, from my part and my sister, we've kind of stopped the storytelling a little bit. Um, and that's something that we have to pick up again, because it's very important for our children to know our past relatives that are no longer here, and even the ones that are here. It's always nice to share stories and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I definitely want to pass down. And I want my husband to do the same thing as well. So,
No, that's very nice. I can tell you that as a child, I was fascinated with stories. I mean, I used to just hunt for, books lying around and, just read. They were my best friends growing up. And I still remember the things that, my mom told me, or, the stories that I read. So it makes a huge, huge impact on a child's
yeah.
life. So,
So, how many
totally agree.
languages do you currently speak right now? I know you speak English, and what are the other languages?
Yeah, in India we tend to be multilingual because there are so many languages. We have a mother tongue, and then because you're living in a certain region, there are people speaking other languages, so you tend to pick those up as well. Hindi is the official language of India,
Hmm.
and then we also study that in school growing up. Bollywood, which you enjoy, is Hindi as well. So, yeah, maybe you'll pick up, few words and sentences. Who knows? Maybe the language. Um,
I know you also
but
speak German.
yes, I've started learning again. But I liked your point when you said that it's good for them to be multilingual. I think it really helps their brain, uh, you know, and just I don't know, I'm not getting the word, but I think with young kids they are able to pick up languages so easily. So
Very.
if I were again, I would pick up so many more languages just because it's so easy. And later on, when you become an adult, it's harder, right?
Yeah.
So I would totally, teach them new languages.
Yeah.
Um, and and it's fun, you can relate to other kids, you can understand their culture better, and it just makes for
Yeah.
a more inclusive society.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially Spanish. I love your songs. I don't understand what it means yet, but
Yeah.
just love the vibes and your Spanish dances, etc. So
Yeah. And I
yeah.
think learning different languages also, like you said, it helps you understand people's culture. And it's so rich. I feel like you get to know people
Exactly. Yeah,
different.
best through their language. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's nothing more beautiful than language, right? You get to enjoy, the music, the conversations. It's just
Yeah.
everything is different, and I really really love that. So, I myself wanna start, learning other languages, and I understand like Italian and Portuguese a little bit. But I want to get into learning it a little bit more, and of course other languages as well. And I will definitely be passing that down to my children. So
No, I think that's a very good thing, and it'll also help them with their career going
yeah,
forward. Um,
it opens their mind
so
so much as well.
yeah, yeah, no, that's true. And I had a question for you. I just
Yeah,
thought of that. Things, a lot of things will change, right? Once we get married, and then certain things we'll need to prioritize, etc. And we definitely enjoy a single life also, where we've been able to focus on different activities. How do you think you will balance your interests with your new role?
that's a very very good question, and that's something that I've thought about.
Mm,
Because I have so many interests And like how would I balance it out? That's a good question. I think now in my singleness, this season of singleness, I think that God is teaching me how to kind of balance things out,
Yeah.
like
Mm,
starting conversations with God, and
mm.
how we're just kind of blocking out the time for that and dedicating some time to this. And then that I have my interest like with fashion. Um, so I think is wow. One of the things that I'm really working on now, and I don't know if this happened to you, but to me it did. When I was younger, I felt that I was a lot more organized and I felt that I was a lot more consistent in things. And that's something that's kind of like I've lacked in the past couple of years. So I think that's something that I need to continue to work on, because when I get married and start having children and start taking care of a household and start taking care of businesses, it could be very overwhelming. I think also having the right people around me to help me out with the business side of things, or that um to be honest, I don't have the full answer for you. I think that now that we're single, I think is the perfect time to start working on those things that need to be worked on. So yeah. I don't know. How about you?
No, yeah, thank you for that honest answer. Um, I don't think I have the full answer yet, but this is an important stage for all of us, right? Because I think it's really maturing us, and I've picked up new skills both with you and around the house as well. I'm learning how to manage my time better,
Yeah,
and,
that's
and,
very
and
important.
sometimes, so many of us have stressful jobs at times, long hours, etc. So, how to work with, um, you know, my coworkers better. And I think there are certain things that we are called to do at different stages of our
Mhm.
lives and prioritize, which we should probably focus on at that time. And for my future, I just pray that the right people will come into my life at the right time, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
very
I know
important.
that both of us do, but yeah,
Yeah,
let's
that's
see
a
how it goes. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's very important. I think also oh, my mom just came in. I think that also is very, very, very important. When you start, when like okay, so like now, right? We're in our 30s and we are working towards, ministry and business and stuff like that. And I think
Yeah.
we're in the right time to do that. So when we do get married and do have children, there's things that are already, advanced. One of the things that is very important, and that these are the things that I have observed and things that I do not want to do, um, I think is important for us. Um, and of course, this is also for the men as well. This is not only for women. Once you start like having these things and start having children, most importantly, um is very still very important to keep that connection with your spouse, because I have seen when women have children, the attention mainly goes to the kids, and I understand why, because they're children and you need to nurture them and take care of them. But you got to remember, you are married. um so you need to make it your business to have that connection with your spouse. um and I think that it's important for you guys. This is something that I definitely want to do. First and foremost, we're chores and stuff like that need to be half and half. We need to help each other out. If I'm cooking, then he's, taking care of the kids, putting them to bed, and I'm washing the dishes and stuff like that. And I think it's important for us. One of the things that I really would love to do in the morning after, we send the kids off to school is I definitely would love to dream with my husband. Like I would love to sit in the, kitchen table wherever we're and just talk about, our dreams and talk about how things are going in the family. Just talk about things that our hearts desired and what we want to see accomplished in the next year, 5 years, 10 years, like things like that. I think it's very important to always keep Jesus at the center of everything that we do, and know that it's you need to keep that, like, that fire going, that spark, that connection. So yeah, I don't. So
Now, I think that could be like a whole different topic
it
as well,
can,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
part
but
of relationships. It's very important.
yeah, um, totally agree. I think all these are like building blocks for a healthy home, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and a lot goes into it. So,
yeah, a
yeah.
lot, a lot, a lot. It's not going to be easy, but when there's like love there, and there is communication and trust, I think things could be a lot smoother.
Mm.
So yeah, so I'm definitely breaking a lot of stuff that is not supposed to, like, anything that I've seen in the past, that stops with me. Like those generational, what we call cursing and stuff, that stops with me.
Yeah.
So yes, in the name of Jesus. So
Yeah, amen. And I think it does take like a conscious decision to put an end to, this cycle of maybe wrong doing, or even a wrong mindset that people have had, right? I think rather than judge a person, or, become bitter, like, hey, it has happened at times, right? Sometimes we've been mad at someone, or something in our family. I feel like that just makes it worse, because then you're carrying that with you, so it's best to kind of let it go, and it's going to be new with
yeah,
us, right? It's going to be a new thing.
yeah, yeah. Like
So that's
what
very
are the
important.
things that definitely is like non-negotiable, like between you and your husband? Like, what are the things that you want to continue, like, in the relationship as you're growing a family, as you're, having these businesses? Like, what are the things that are like just non-negotiable for you and your spouse?
Again, I don't know if I've thought about it as much. That is my honest answer. And also, I feel like a lot of this, I think, as one spends more time with the word, right? That like shapes your values and principles.
A lot, yes.
Because so many times when if you just try to do things yourself, you might compromise. You might be like, okay, maybe it's just me thinking like this, right? But I think it's important to support one another,
Yes.
not put each other down. There can be subtle ways, something you say, maybe it's a look or something, which keeps happening. It's not like uh, a one-off thing. But I think people need to communicate, like talk things out. If not, it's just going to blow up sometime in the future, right? So, and I don't think it's an easy thing. I really laud and appreciate couples who sit down and work things out. Really kudos to you guys. But
Yeah.
I think it is so important. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
what about you?
it is. So like I said, like one of the things that I want to do is, have that, one-on-one time with him.
Yeah, maybe that'll help. Yeah.
Yeah, and also prayer. I think first thing in the morning when we get up, um, I think it's very important for us to come into prayer together. Of course, individually, everyone, we both have our own prayer time, but at some point throughout the day, I think it's very important for us to come together as a couple and pray. Pray and pray for our children, our family, what's in our heart as well. And I think it's important to set aside a day out of the week and do date night, go out to dinner or even have our separate little dinner after the kids are in bed for ourselves. It's very important to keep that connection between you and your spouse, because you guys are the foundation, and you guys are what builds the family, that will holds
Yeah.
the family up. um,
Yeah.
to be in the same page, to always have that communication and connection. um yeah, I think that's very important, and to know that the children are both of ours. They're not just mine, because I've heard that a lot in my years, from women that have had bad experiences with men. uh,
Yeah.
how the children are hers, and the children are both. um
Yeah.
That's why is so important. And I think that you and I are in that same boat where we are literally like letting God not only write our love story, but literally letting, like, trusting him and the person that he is going to join us with. Because unfortunately, I have seen, and I'm pretty sure you have seen as well, people having children um with people that are not very responsible, and
Yeah.
no shame, no condemnation to anyone. But it's important who you choose for the parents of your child. So yes.
And I'm sure you and I we are not saying that it's an easy thing, right?
Oh no,
Because
no, no, no.
you know, but so many of us with God, it takes time,
Yes.
and then you do need to wait. But I think that's the interesting thing about doing this video, while we are waiting, right?
Yeah.
Because we understand what
Yeah.
you know y'all are going through as well.
And
So
even being like Holy Spirit filled and God followers, the day that God connects you with your spouse, it doesn't mean that it's always gonna be, roses. And because we have a past, we've gone through things. We There's still some healing that has to be done. But I feel when you put Jesus first and you put him in the center, and you're looking towards him, and you let the man be the man, ladies. You let the man be the man. Of course, having discernment and boundaries. Of course, and what I'm saying is, when he is a man that's after God's heart, it's okay to let him lead. Like, let him lead. He is the head of the household. We are the helper. I truly believe in that. I'm not saying to let anyone lead or any, like, be, what is it, submit to any man, because not any man is from God. That's why we're saying that we are letting God make that connection for us. And that's just my personal choice. I'm sure for Pearl, that's your choice as well. And it's fine if you're out here, meeting people and dating. If that's what you feel that the Lord is leading you to do, then you do that. Of course, have discernment, be cautious. Um, but for some of us, is that's not the case, and that's fine. Um, but yeah.
yeah, you know, Good advice. Enjoyed this discussion.
I did. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot more of this discussion that we're going to talk about. But today we just kind of wanted to kind of give like a little preview of, I don't know, this a topic of family and
Yeah,
the things that we have seen that we want to continue and things that we don't want to continue. So I think now that we are in that stage of singleness, I think this is a perfect time to set our priorities in check. And yeah. So, Miss Pearl, do you have any
yeah.
last thoughts?
No, I just want to second what you said. As always, would love our viewers to comment, let us know what traditions they would like to stop, they would like to continue. I'm sure there's so much that we can learn from each other. I
Yes,
just find it encouraging to, just hear from um, fellow human beings. It's always a learning. And I pray for everyone who's watching, whatever stage of life you may be in. Um, I don't think the grass is greener on the other side at all. Each one of us is going through certain things, but we are all growing. So, let us encourage each other to be hopeful and, to continue having faith in God because
yeah,
He is amazing and He loves all of us so much.
yes,
So, thank
absolutely.
you
I
all.
second that. Yes, yes. So, with that being said, we're gonna close out this episode. And just comment below of what you guys think. I know this is a lengthy video, but I hope you guys stayed throughout the whole thing and just let us know like what are the things in your life that you have seen that you it's like I said, those things stop with you and you're
Yeah,
starting something fresh in the name of Jesus. And what are
yeah,
things that you really enjoyed about your family and things that you also, I know that we spoke about other topics. I kind of rabbit trail all over. It's the prophetic in me, sorry. But just let us know. Let us know. So we will see you guys on the next episode. And this is not gonna be the last, episode on family. We will definitely come back and talk about that a little bit more. There's just so much. It's such a deep, deep conversation. So we love you guys. Take care in the name of Jesus.
bye.
Gonna be a great week for you guys. Peace. Bye.